Okay, first question. Why was the U.S. involved in the conflict?
The U.S. was involved in the conflict because basically Saudi Arabia had a lot of oil, and Saddam Hussein did not like the fact that Kuwait was overproducing oil, and because they were overproducing, the prices were low and the profits were even lower, and Saddam was not happy about that, so he invaded Kuwait, and the West was really worried that with Saddam being so close to the Saudi oil fields that uh, he could possibly control the oil supply for the world, and that was a big threat to not only the U.S. but our allies.
Okay. Second question. What was your position or job during the war?
I was a lieutenant in the Navy, and I had a few jobs on board the aircraft carrier. I was a division officer for the communications department, which is about 40 radiomen. I ran a vault for top secret encrypted material, which we gave to the allies and the pilots so they could talk to each other on the radios. And I also stood watch up on the bridge as officer of the deck, running the ship when the captain was away. And about 8 to 10 hours a day I was up there maneuvering the ship and carrying out his orders.
How long were you deployed and what operation were you a part of?
We were sent over in January of 1990. We arrived on station in the Gulf in August. We actually were the first carrier battle group in the Gulf in 20 years. And we stayed on station floating around in the Gulf for 112 days. We were just flying constant missions over Saudi Arabia as a deterrent, not only us but our allied ships and air forces, to make sure that Saddam knew we were there and prevent escalation into Saudi Arabia, and meanwhile we're telling him to get out of Kuwait. So that was our major mission there on Desert Shield.
Right. And what did the operation do?
That operation was basically to let Saddam know that we're there and we're ready to act if he does anything stupid. We cut off his supplies, and we were basically a massive show of force to just let him know, like I said, if he does anything wrong, we're going to act. And then when he didn't live up to the deadline of pulling out, that's when Operation Desert Storm happened, and we started bombing him and with ground forces and air power.
For those who don't know, who was Saddam Hussein?
He was the president of Iraq at the time.
What strategies or tactics did the U.S. use to defeat or weaken Saddam and his Iraqi forces?
I think deterrent is a huge psychological force in itself. And then we also took away a lot of his shipping, his lanes, his imports and exports. We choked off his supply lines. And that in itself, I think, on top of all the air power that we ended up bombing on him,